All right, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic time out there on the show floor. You are at the Body, Mind, and Soul show here at Promo Show, or maybe you're watching this education that is coming up on Promo Corner's Facebook page, on Promo Show's Facebook page, on Promo Corner's YouTube page, or Promo Corner's LinkedIn page. We are all over social media today, and this is the Body, Mind, and Soul show brought to you by Promo Show. And Promo Show is powered by Promo Corner. I just want to make sure that there is that little bit of a distinction that, there's Promo Show and Promo Corner, and we're all one and the same. So we want to make sure that we have that. And just a quick little heads up, if you can't hear me right now, there is a volume rocker over on your side of the video screen, and you can turn your volume on there. So getting into the actual education part of the show today, we have Cliff Quicksell, and he's going to be educating us on how to sell wellness, or selling wellness. So Cliff, I'm going to bring you up on screen, man.
Sounds good.
Welcome to the show. We are looking forward to what you have for us today. And we've got your deck all lined up here. I'm going to get you started up. Now, guys, this is interactive. If you're watching on social media, or you're on another one of the platforms that's got all the comment sections, you can put all of your questions and everything in that comment section, and we will actually put them up on screen, and Cliff will actually be able to answer those as well when I interrupt him if there is time. So, Cliff, I'm going to drop off, and it is just your presentation up on screen, man.
Well, thank you very, very much, Brandon. I appreciate that. And I do want to give a shout out to the Promo Show for asking me to participate in this presentation. You know what? I'm excited, and I'll tell you why. It's starting to feel that people are really starting to understand how important it is to market in certain channels, as opposed to trying to be everything to everyone. Wellness, I must tell you, is a remarkable vertical market. If you've ever heard me speak, I always talk about the virtues of really looking at your client base from a vertical marketing strategy, or a vertical strategy. Like I said a moment ago, I don't think it's a smart strategy today, especially given what a lot of end users are saying. They're not looking for a generalist. They're looking for someone that is very focused and channeled. Now, I would, as a caveat, I'm not saying that you should just sell in the wellness market. Because if there's a pivot, or something happens globally in the world, it could be a disruptor. And if you're in one segment, that could be a problem. However, wellness is a remarkable and strong vertical market. That vertical market, along with a lot of others, but this one specifically, have massive opportunities if you know how to channel what you're doing in the correct manner. So one of the things that I have identified is that the pandemic, this COVID issue that we've been dealing with at exhaustion for the last 2 years, has certainly raised a lot of issues. It's raised awareness. It's raised awareness about our mental health, our physical health, our general sense of well-being, how it affects insurance premiums, and the like. It's really crazy. Recently, I had the pleasure of sitting as an attendee. Believe that or not, I do a lot of education, and I like being an attendee and listen. I was up at Sagney, and I did I was actually an attendee, as I mentioned, and I listened to Dan Edge from Peerless talk about the mental health issues that our industry is facing. And it was really, number one, it was a shocker. Number two, it was a game changer for me, because I never stopped to think about that, about what challenged it. It was so compelling that I actually wrote an article for Promo Corner, and I would encourage you to go read it. If you can, go and search Promo Corner and look at the one on mental issues with our peers. And I will tell you that it was literally had over 1,400 views and reads over probably a month and a half, 2 month period. But nonetheless, it really did make me aware that there is, with all the challenges, there's a huge opportunity a real big opportunity to really, do a lot of things in this space that we may not have, maybe considered or thought of in the past. So the question I get often is, okay, so who uses this? When you talk about wellness, where does that really reside? Well, these vertical marketing opportunities are like in healthcare organizations. And I'm just going to go through these, but then I'm going to expound a little bit more on it. Pardon me. Medical insurance, spas, fitness and health centers, cannabis dispensaries, corporations, fitness centers, and HR, parks and recreation departments, master planned communities, so like retirement homes and things of that nature. This vertical market, again, has a massive opportunity. So you can imagine, let's say you're living in Florida and you said, I want to deal with all of these organizations that you see right here, and I want to talk specifically about the wellness and what can they can purchase and things like that. And I really want to try to lift you out of that just product centric thinking when it relates to this, because again, I think that that's where the strongest opportunity. But imagine you living in Florida and imagine how many spas there are in Florida. How many master plan communities are there in Florida? How many corporations, fitness and health centers? It's massive. And so here's the problem. As I look at it, here's the problem that we deal with. And you know what? I'm going to digress because I'm going to get to that. But once again, great opportunity here. So for instance, if you're creating opportunities for yourself and not necessarily just selling the product, you can actually own this category. You can actually own this vertical market category if you choose to do it. I mean, you could even break it down. Imagine all the cannabis dispensaries, because believe it or not, there is a wellness component to cannabis. Some people don't feel comfortable selling in that space, so be it. But think about the spas. Think about corporations that have fitness centers in there. And guess what? It's a component, HR. It's something that HR uses to attract talent. The companies will actually use wellness and things of that nature to help reduce insurance premiums and things like that. I have a neighbor that's across the street. He's a very good friend of mine. He's the COO of a company that does sleep studies. And he was telling me, and just the eye-opening opportunities there of how do we help drivers in the United States? Where's the opportunity there in trucking and things of that nature? So the vertical market opportunities here are certainly tremendous. And again, if you can look at this from a broad scope, and again, this is that 50,000 foot view. And then how do we drill down? So again, if you have a background, and like I have a friend of mine that sells to dispensaries, cannabis dispensaries, there's a lot of those people in the space. But what is it that you're going to provide to those people that's going to make a difference? So, who uses it? This is just one example, several examples of people that do use it. But the question is, what are some of the related products in this space? Now, if you really think about this, anything and everything that we have in our arsenal, these organizations and these other sub-vertical markets actually have access, and they can use any marketing piece as long as it has their brand on it. But the question is, does it move people to do things? So, we have, when you talk about related products as it relates to the wellness industry, you look at like essential oils. And look, our industry has absolutely exploded with all of these different things. And I think a lot of it's driven on challenges and things that have affected, our industry. And again, I think it goes back to the pandemic. But I want you just to look at this statically for a minute. You have essential oils, candles. You could have wellness, books on wellness, aromatherapy, workout bands, jump ropes, audio that has relaxation audio inside of it, stress balls, exercise guides. All of these products are great. But this is the challenge that I certainly find when I'm working with folks as it relates to this, is that when we kind of gravitate it down to just the product, what happens is it creates a door for bidding. You can have the best product in the world, that you take to the table. Next thing you know, somebody sees a really nice scented candle and says, oh, man, that would be pretty nice. Let's say it's a spa that they want to, put branded candles on their shelf to sell as in retail. Yeah, but now all of a sudden, because it's a candle, they can go anywhere and they can go to any one of your competitors. So again, the thing for me is, while I think that the products are very cool, my question would be, how do you do things a little bit different? How do you set yourself above the competition? How do you elevate your brand so that when people look at you, they're looking at you as an expert in this space, not somebody that's just flogging product that they can find on the internet? How do you elevate? That's the thing I want people to understand, is how do you elevate your game, elevate your brand, so that when people see what you do, you create a total different experience. And as I said, I think that there's an opportunity for you to own the category. And how do we do this? And I believe it really boils down to understanding the customer. And that means asking a lot of questions. So in order to own the category, because all these things that we're talking about here, quite frankly, could be one-off sales. You do, 500 jump ropes for an organization. So what? What else could you add to that? What else could you bring to the table? And I've got a great example about what you could do. I was brainstorming this morning when I woke up, and I go, what kind of example could I come up with and share with these folks where they could see where it would be something, folks, that you don't find in a catalog. It's not on the proverbial ABC PQR coding. It's something that you create. It's different. It's unique. And we're going to talk a little bit about scalability and how important that is, and how you can take a concept and an idea in this vertical market and you could run with it, and that you can protect that idea, where you can make massive profits on this idea. And again, it's because you own the concept. And again, I would encourage you to think about it. There's a term that I use. Actually, I'd love to be able to say I thought of it. I'm probably not that smart, but my buddy, the great Jeff Tobe, once said at one of his presentations, he said, I want everybody to know that they can R&D anything on my screen. And I know some of you that are out here have heard me speak know what that means. But for those of you who don't, R&D stands for not research and development, but rip off and duplicate. So I encourage you, if you have an idea, if I spit out an idea, write it down and run with it. And, again, because I think it might not be a success or whatever, but again, I'm just encouraging you to think about it a little bit outside the box. So when we start talking about, when I speak rather about looking beyond the product, I want you to look that in the wellness space, beyond the product, the opportunities are training, education, recruiting, attrition, health programs, kitting and fulfillment, and packaging. And I think if you can start looking at things on a grander scale, identifying a problem. See, in this industry, regardless of the vertical market, I think that we get caught up in this quagmire of not asking enough questions and just running. If a client asks us for something, and then we just kind of like a gopher, you go find it on the internet and you give them a price and you pray, crossing your fingers that they're going to place the order with you. How do you ask more questions? People don't buy promotional products just for the mere fact to have promotional products sitting in their proverbial closet. They buy these things because there is a purpose. There's a reason. They're trying to do something. They're trying to change behavior. They're trying to get people to react. They're trying to communicate a message. So how do we go about doing that? So again, if you take all the products that we talked back here, and how do you take these products and how do you, and the thousands of other products that we have, and how do you put those into an actionable campaign that could actually help a client, regardless of the vertical market within this space, regardless if it's a spa or a community or things like that. For instance, it may be you reach out to senior community in, let's say, down in Florida. And they're saying, what we'd like to do is we'd like to launch a program so we can get as many of our seniors involved in this program about losing weight, staying healthy, walking more. Okay, a lot of times clients are not going to give you that information. You're going to have to draw that information out of someone. You're going to have to ask those questions. And by doing so, you can now look at that and say, okay, this is your target audience. This is what you're trying to do. This is the message. This is the tone. This is what you're trying to accomplish. Now, how do I go back to the drawing board, and within the budget that the client has and the quantities and whatnot, how do I put something together that would be different, would be unique, that would solve the problem potentially, and would be something that would find that they would find very difficult to price out? Because, folks, I say this all the time, and very few people listen to me. When you do things at that level, you can actually protect those ideas. When you come up with the concept that includes the kitting, the fulfillment, the custom packaging, what's going in it, the theme, the copy, all of that, when you put all that together, it's a game changer. And I know some of the people that are on this call right now, because they've reached out to me, you know that what I'm saying is 100% accurate because you've done it. You've had success with it. And again, this vertical is no different. It's again, one of the things that I don't like people doing, it really kind of bugs me, I guess you could say, is when they'll do one thing. They'll do one thing for one person in this vertical market and be done with it. And if you're not familiar with the term scalability, think about it. A marketing campaign that you can come up with, or a creative campaign that you can come up with, because there's senior homes, for instance, all over the United States. If you come up with a creative program that was successful in Florida, why couldn't you launch that same one in North Carolina or Maine or Texas or California? You could. And again, if you own this vertical market, if you understood all the dynamics of this vertical market, you could do that. And you could be such a resource that you would be the go-to person in that space. Now, I didn't do a lot in this space because I don't think wellness wasn't, when I'm an old guy, so back in the day, I think that it was around, but I don't think it had as much traction as it does currently. But I did a lot in the hospitality space. I did a lot in the banking and financing space. And I'm telling you, you become known as the go-to person in that space. You'll be surprised at how fast that spreads. So here's an opportunity for you. Again, when you're thinking about the wellness community, how do you create something that they cannot find on the internet? And that it goes back to what happened during the pandemic. Do you know that kitting just exploded? My very dear friend of mine, Andy Griffin, who owns Keepsake Boxes USA, he and his partners, I was on a call with them the other day. They said that during the pandemic, when everybody else was struggling, they were out buying equipment. He said, we were so busy, we couldn't stand it because there was an opportunity. They filled the need. The thing is, I hope that everybody on this call remembers, don't forget that, because that is not going away. That is not going away, especially in this space. So I encourage you to think about that. Now, some of you have probably seen this next slide that I'm going to talk about. When I just want to talk about where the opportunities are when we talk about this. And again, taking it above. This is a marketing piece that I designed for a friend of mine years ago. Now, it had a different logo on it and whatnot. But what I want to share with you is that this young lady that I knew was a podiatric surgeon. And she, going back to the product side, she said, promotional products don't work. They're terrible. I said, what do you mean? We've given out 5,000 pens and 1,000 coffee mugs, and we haven't seen an increase in business at all. Well, maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe there's something that you need to do a little bit differently. And what was unique is she had never experienced the whole concept here. And this was a wellness thing. How do we get people off the dime, and how do we get more referrals and things of that nature? So through the discovery process, we wanted to find out who her best target audience was. We created and built a solution that had defined KPIs, or key performance indicators, that would say, this is how we're going to identify if we have success. Measurement is absolutely critical when you're doing things like this. So the question I would have to the audience, and it's funny because when I do this live, I can't tell you how probably everybody in the room puts their hand up. I asked the question, how many of you have ever seen a teddy bear in this industry that has a physical cast on its leg? And I will tell you that it doesn't exist. This was a custom piece that I got teddy bears, and I'm going to talk a little bit about leveraging the community here in a second. But once again, taking a teddy bear, and I actually casted the legs of 100 of these different teddy bears, and we marketed this out to other doctors to get referrals. It was amazing. 46% referral rate on 100% targeted. So we beat our KPIs, I think, by 23% or 26%, because I think we were looking at a 20% return. And this is an excellent response rate. But again, think about this for a minute. I can take this same concept and idea, and I could take it to any podiatric surgeon in any part of the United States, because now I have data. That's scalable. If I did it in Florida, as long as it wasn't competing with this other foot and ankle place, guess what? I could do it anywhere that I wanted. The beauty about this is we even took it a step further. So it's not just doing the teddy bear and here you go. We put a custom hang tag in the ear. We actually put a beaded chain with a small Sharpie. These were hand delivered with a stack of referral cards. And the doctor that was handing these out would actually sign the cast in front of the referring doctor or the office manager, put her phone number on it and say, you have my personal guarantee that we'll take care of your patients like they're our own kids. And again, so I want you to understand, it's not just the product, it's the concept. It's how we put all that together and really define a differentiator that your competition is not doing. The reality is only 3% of the industry do what we're talking about here. And there, my friends, is where the opportunity lies. So this is the thing that I thought about today before I started. I thought about, this is what I call conceptual thinking. I was thinking about the same type of client and a podiatric surgeon. And one of the issues that they have, and this is a great idea of a wellness campaign concept. So the thing about the elderly, they deal with what they call neuropathy or bad circulation. When I talked to this young lady, she told me that the issue is if we can get people walking, it helps with the circulatory system. So I thought, okay, well, why wouldn't we come up with a campaign? Because now, because of everything that happened with pharma, everything had to be transparent and whatnot. Well, this was a kit that could either be sold or whatnot through a practice. But you create a journal, a custom journal that would have a pen in it. Inside there would be an actual workout routine. There could be a link that would go back to a website that would actually explain the process and how they track and how they use this. On the inside could be a card or a brochure that for people that didn't necessarily have access to the internet could actually go on there and understand this process. They could actually track the results. They could take the journal back to their doctor. There's a pedometer that's in there that it could actually track the miles or where they've traveled or how far they've walked in a certain, and they could take this information back to their doctor and have a conversation. So if you kitted all that in a custom box, guess what? That doesn't exist in any search field on ASI, on Sage, or anywhere. It doesn't exist. But guess what? You can control the profits of that. And I go back to what I said before on a project like this. Once I have this concept nailed down and I have all the products nailed down and how it works and how it should be implemented into the space, I control the profit. I control where this goes, and it can be protected. This is an idea that can be protected or copyrighted or trademarked if you chose to do it. And I can tell you this right now, folks, I believe that this is a massive game changer in this space. If you start thinking differently about what you do and how you go to market, you could easily sell somebody a pedometer. You could easily sell someone a journal. But guess what? Anybody can sell the journal. Anybody can sell the pedometer or a brochure. Anybody. But it takes the creative mind to understand, how do we blend all of this together so that we control the entire process, that we control the concept, the ideas, and things like that, in order to really set yourself apart in that particular space. Now, I talk about scalability, and I just want to say one more thing about that. These projects sometimes take some time, some effort. I mean, I've had some projects that I've worked on that have taken me, 4 or 5 months. So don't do a project, a solo project in mind that you're just going to do one off for one person. If you scale it, now that you've done all the hard work, now it's easy to just take that idea. And now if all of a sudden somebody's logo is blue instead of red, you use a blue journal, you use a red pedometer. You change the graphics on the box, but you have the concept down and you have the data to support it. And that case history, that data support that you have, can go an awful long way. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't share this with you. I'm a big fan of using closeouts. Even if I'm working for a customer, like that teddy bear I showed you, my client at the time did not have a huge budget at all. But I knew that there was a lot of vendors in the industry, and I decided, I won't get into the details of it, but I decided on a plush toy piece because of the way the emotional triggers that this was going to hit. I knew this would be the thing to do. But again, I went to some of my key people and I said, hey, do you have any closeouts on sale on teddy bears? Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to get the person to buy teddy bears, right? I'm getting them to buy the concept and the idea. So if I can, there's an acronym that a buddy of mine uses called WSLITSI. You have it shown right here, and it says, if you want something, leverage the community. And we have a brilliant community of supplier partners that are there to help, that are there to give advice, that are there to, help you through, navigate the waters. But a lot of these things that you see here, whether it be a tape measure, a jump rope, there's a lot of closeout merchandise. And you have a brilliant gift of being creative. How do you blend the stuff that most people are going to say, it's not worth it, or not want to use? And how can you turn that into gold? And folks, again, I go back to what I said. This is a massive opportunity for you if you choose to take it on board. It's amazing. And again, I encourage you to, while you think about the vertical market, think about the different players in that space, really do some deep dive research and find out where you might have a niche or a fit there. And then build a large community, not just 1 or 2 people, but just build a large community. Certainly, you can sell them product if that's what you want to do. But no, by just doing the product sale, the challenge becomes you've now opened the door, as I said before, to bidding and things like that. The great Milton Berle once said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. And that's what I'm saying to you right now. This is an opportunity for you to set yourself apart from your competition. And in this particular vertical market, you can actually change the dynamics of their space and also increase your profitability in a significant way. Folks, I want to thank Promo Show for inviting me here to speak. Here's my contact information. If there's anything I can do, please feel free to reach out or just pop me an email. It's cliff@quickspeaks.com. Happy to help you. And Brandon, I don't know if there's any questions that may have surfaced, but I'm certainly willing to take them if there are.
Hey, we have been monitoring the chats. Everybody's super pumped. There was a lot of people reiterating what you were saying. This is a very timely and very usable topic. And yeah, Cliff, we just appreciate you being here too, man. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day. You guys, his contact information is up on the screen. reach out to him. Talk about one of the most amazing minds here. And he glossed over real quick what he does here at Promo Corner. He does write a monthly blog for us called Cliff's Notes. And it is, you can find it at promocorner.com under the promo journal tab. It's also broadcast across all of our social media platforms. And so we thank you for doing that and spreading your knowledge there as well as here at Promo Show. So thank you so much, Cliff.
I'm blessed to be here. Thank you, buddy.
Awesome, man. All right. We're going to drop Cliff off of here, and we are going to talk a little bit more about what is coming up for the rest of the day. It is getting close to the end of the session here. We do have some prizes coming up shortly, and we'll have that coming up at 3. We got a bunch of thank yous coming in from everybody who watched. So thank you, everybody who paid attention and was commenting. Your comments on Facebook are very welcome on Promo Show and on Promo Corner. Just some quick little housekeeping things here. We do have at 3:00 the giveaways that are coming up, and we want to thank TechWeld, Raining Rose, Fit Kit Wellness, and Natural Trends. We got a bunch of amazing products from them. We'll go into a little bit more detail at 3:00. And just real quick too, I just was alerted that there is a brand new supplier to the industry and a first-time user of virtual trade show platforms, ME or Me Snap. It's the square down there that says your 3D logo. They are brand new. This is their first time to virtual shows. This is their first time in the industry. So go check them out and find out what they do in the industry. We are pumped to have a bunch of first timers here. But with that being said, we will see you guys here. I'll give you about a half an hour to go talk to the suppliers that you haven't been able to. They are live, you guys. Go in there and chat with them, video chat with them. Yeah, we'll see you at 3 for some giveaways. All right, talk to you soon.